Hi friends, today we are going to discuss telemedicine practice guidelines of India. This guideline was released by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on 25th March 2020. Myself, Dr. Suresh Padadmat, Head of Telemedicine Center, Professor of Psychiatry, NIMANS, Bangalore. Before I start my presentation, I would like to have a disclaimer. If you require any legal opinion, please do contact advocate. This presentation is not a substitute for legal opinion. And also I request you, please do refer to the original document of telemedicine practice guidelines available on Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Please do regularly check if there are any updates on this guidelines. Can RMP prescribe medication on teleconsultation? Prescribing medicine over telemedicine is allowed under the telemedicine guidelines. However, there is some requirements has to be fulfilled by the RMP. First and the foremost, whatever the professional accountability is there in traditional in-person consultation, same professional accountability will be held under telemedicine consultation. Same ethics, same laws will be applicable even for telemedicine consultation. If a medical condition requires certain protocol has to be followed, then the RMP needs to follow the protocol even on telemedicine consultation. Further, RMP can prescribe medicine via telemedicine only. Please, I'm emphasizing only when the RMP is satisfied that he or she has gathered enough of information and he knows the diagnosis, then only he will go ahead with the prescription. And again, the prescription should be in the best interest of the patient. So the RMP has been given the power to prescribe on telemedicine. But however, there are certain caution has to be also placed. Prescribing medicine without an appropriate diagnosis or a provisional diagnosis is considered as misconduct as per this guideline. Also, the RMP needs to follow the category of medicine list which can be prescribed on telemedicine consultation. These are the list. The list O is over-the-counter medication. For example, paracetamol, antacids, vitamins. These are the things which will be considered as over-the-counter medication. They are called as list O, over-the-counter medication. List A, these are called as relatively safe medicines with the least abusive potential. Those are the drugs. And the drugs which can be considered in follow-up or a refill medication will be considered as a list A. Follow-up means the patient has been seen in-person consultation. That is very, very essential. Next is list B. List B is medication which RMP can prescribe in patient who is undergoing follow-up consultation in addition to those which have been prescribed during in-person consultation. For example, augmentation, add-on drug for chronic medications. Now, there is a very important point, list C, which has been completely prohibited under telemedicine consultation. For example, Schedule X and the drugs like narcotics and psychotropic medicines which are listed under NDPS Act. So, the prohibited list, once again I am emphasizing, the medicine listed under Schedule X of Drugs and Cosmetic Acts have been prohibited. Any narcotic and psychotropic substances listed under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act have been prohibited to give prescription under telemedicine consultation. Now the Schedule X are amphetamine, methamphetamine, phencyclidine, methylphenidate. These are the drugs. However, there are many questions from my psychiatry colleagues whether the psychotropic medicines are being prohibited. No, most of the psychiatry medicines come under Schedule H, so they have not been banned. However, the ban is basically on the drugs which are listed under the NDPS Act of 1985. For example, I can offhand remember three medicines. One is ketamine, which has been given for suicidal patient, have been prohibited under this. Methadone, buprenorphine. These are the drugs have been prohibited under the telemedicine consultation and prescription over the online. Now again summarizing, list O, any type of consultation, even phone call can be, the prescription can be done either in the first consultation or in the follow-up consultation. List A drugs, which with the least abusive potential, there video consultation is must. And these can be given either in the first consultation or else follow-up for refill consultation can be considered. List B, any drug, only follow-up is considered. That is where the patient has been seen in person and the follow-up is going and the chronic medical condition has been detected. For those conditions only list B can be considered. Prohibited medications, Schedule X and NDPS Act regulated medicines have been banned. How to send the prescription? You have done the examination, now you have to send the prescription. How to send it? As per the Indian Medical Council regulation, the prescription need to fulfill the ethics guidelines. That is very essential. Once the ethics guidelines has been fulfilled, a photocopy, a scanned copy, a digital copy of the signed prescription or e-prescription can be sent via email or by any messaging platform. Again, I would like to remind here, the guidelines is made so simple so that any rural patient can contact and get the prescription over any messaging platform. At the same time, when an RNP wants to send this prescription to a particular pharmacy, you have to be very careful. You have to take explicit consent from the patient that he has given permission to send this prescription to a pharmacy which the doctor wants. Without this, it will be considered as a misconduct under this telemedicine guidelines. How should this prescription should look? The prescription should have a lettered kind of thing where RNP's name, qualification, registration number, address, contact details, date and time of consultation should be mentioned. And the name of the client, address, age, gender, height, weight, and LMP should be asked. On the left-hand corner, chief complaints, relevant history, examination finding, suggested investigation. On the right-hand corner, diagnosis, provisional diagnosis has to be mentioned. Name of the medicine in capital letters and generic name has to be written. And if you are going to give any special instruction, it has to be at the bottom. And also, you have to mention the prescription is generated on telemedicine consultation. What about the confidentiality and privacy of the data which has been recorded? With regard to data privacy and confidentiality, RNP shall abide by the Indian Medical Council's Regulation 2002. Along with this, he has to abide by the IT Act, Data Protection and Privacy Law, or any other laws and regulations, rules notified by time to time, because the patient's privacy and confidentiality remains prime. And also, the guidelines also cast an obligation that there should be a reasonable degree of care has to be undertaken when sending a prescription or providing telemedicine consultation guidelines. Coming to the end of my presentation, this guideline has some positive aspects and some negative aspects. The positive aspects are striking. These guidelines, the guidelines which have been drafted, are patient friendly. They are very simple, very comprehensive. The professionals have been given complete freedom, like at any point of time, he can stop the telemedicine consultation and he can ask him to go and meet an RMP or an in-person consultation. At the same time, the patient also can say, I want in-person consultation. He can stop this telemedicine consultation. And this telemedicine consultation cuts across all digital format. It does not ban any kind of like social media or anything, so that the patient friendly is kept in the forefront. And this guideline is a fantabulous attempt made to reach the rural patient. And according to me, my personal opinion, it's one of the best guidelines in the world in terms of uses. And this guideline is a paradigm shift. It is going to change the way the doctors are going to practice future medicine. It is a game changer in health industry. At the same time, there are some drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? Whereas this guideline does not consider what are the repercussions if the patient is releasing the RMP's audio video without his consent. It is very silent. The place of complaint. Imagine if a doctor has given a consultation sitting in Karnataka to a patient in Delhi. Where does the patient is going to give a complaint for State Medical Council. Is it in Delhi or is it in Karnataka? That clarity is not here. Insurance, medical insurance for teleconsultation has not been emphasized here. Aggregators, storing of the data, who is the owner of the data has not been mentioned, and it is silent in the guidelines. And also these online platforms advertise the doctors, rating of the doctors by the clients, it is very silent. These can be considered as an advertisement or inducement, and the end result, the doctors can be blacklisted, or under the ethics he can be punished. To conclude, the time is now. Person is you to initiate the change. Telemedicine is the solution to foster the right to healthcare at home. Thank you very much for patient listening.